Welcome to our podcast, Parenting by the Pint. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, Minivan Mafia. Lauren and I are longtime friends from Chicagoland that love getting together to chat about life, kids, family, and beer.
Each week, we'll feature a brewery and sample at least 2 of their beers.
We'll also discuss a variety of topics ranging from parenting, pop culture, travel, marriage, and just about anything else that comes to mind. Welcome back, everybody.
Hi, welcome. Yay.
How are you
beer,
doing today, Lauren?
More drinking. I like it. More chatting.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
how about you? Good?
I'm doing pretty
Fantastic.
good. Yeah. I'm ready to enjoy another brewery with you that I've never heard of. Let's keep that trend going.
You know what? Maybe that's what we should. We should find like random breweries we've never drank before.
Ugh. I mean,
There's
I
so
think
many,
that's
though.
definitely possible, but I think that's a little bit of work.
You know what? I'll be in Wisconsin. I'm going to look purposely at like the Woodmans for like breweries I've never had
Yes.
before.
Or you know what you can do while you're on the road is just search breweries near me and see what pops up.
All right.
And then, you know, try to detour to some places.
We're going to continue on the random new
We're gonna try.
breweries. We're going to try.
I will say
We'll
that
see.
I have one brewery left from our trip.
Okay.
That was a place I had not heard of.
Nice.
So when we do drink that one next time,
Fantastic.
hypothetically,
We'll continue on. I think I have one more brewery too that I have.
Oh, nice.
So we're good. All right, we'll continue on.
You guys are so lucky. We've got
Look at
We've got
this.
beer to drink and episodes to
We
record.
always, yes.
Yeah,
All
I don't
right.
think we're gonna run out of beer. You know,
That's
there's
not
gonna be
gonna
a day where I'm
happen.
gonna repeat a story, which I've probably already done,
Yeah,
but
we're
we're
never
not
gonna
gonna run out of beer.
Nope.
No, that'll never happen.
Nope. So yeah. All right.
All right, well, let's drink O'So Brewing Company,
Yeah.
which is from Plover, Wisconsin. And we're going to drink, they have an IPA. Is that right?
That's
you're
what we're
holding
gonna
there?
start with. Yeah, Dinky Juice. It's a hop sticking its tongue out with sunglasses.
Oh,
It's kind of
very
adorable
nice.
little hop. I have never had this.
Well,
anything
certainly
from this.
not. Neither have I.
So we're giving it a shot. But yeah, we're gonna drink an IPA to start.
Thank
Why
you.
not? Yeah, they're from the like Stevens Point area, which
Okay.
is an area that people tend to recognize.
A hazy IPA.
Oh, it is. It doesn't say that. It
smells-
just says IPA, but I'm gonna go with it's definitely hazy.
Yes, I can tell from a distance.
Huh. Idaho 7 Sabro Citra.
Citra.
TBH. Yeah. Citra.
I could have guessed that.
Yeah, for sure. So cool.
I'm not super well versed on hop varietals, but
No.
Citra, man, you put Citra in your beer, I know what your beer is going to taste like.
And smell like.
Yeah,
This smells like an IPA.
and that's what we have here.
We have a very IPA aroma. Got a crispness to it that I like.
Yeah, it's not as creamy as like a New England or a hazy IPA, you know. Not to say that it's bland, because it isn't, although it is very low alcohol. I'm looking at
It's
this
very
can.
low alcohol.
3.2%.
Which is super low for an IPA.
Okay, I'm getting that now.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to revise my statement. And I'm going to say, for a 3.2% alcohol beer, this is pretty good.
It is. It's got a really great crispness to it. The
For
aroma
flavor-wise,
is very
yeah.
IPA. The flavor is tasty. You're right. It's not creamy, so you wouldn't expect that, but it's got a good crisp hop like taste to it that's
This is
not
refreshing.
overpowering. It's super refreshing. Like this,
Yeah.
I could sit outside and drink like a lot of because
a dangerous amount because it's so low
tastes
alcohol.
Really good. It's got a nice flavor profile to it. It's got a nice
Yeah.
crispness to it. There's not a lot of that. Some of them have too much of a kind of bitter aftertaste. This one doesn't
this
have
is
that at all. Yeah.
This is very clean. I don't get any of that.
It's very
Yeah.
clean. That's a really good way to describe it. This is a really good beer.
Yeah.
And you're right, it is low ABV, but like you could sit and drink this and It's very tasty.
Yeah, I kind of wish it came in like 15 packs.
Right? Like I would totally drink this.
This is the kind of beer I would drink while making dinner because I come back to it,
Yep.
like, and but what I tend to do when I'm like cooking a meal and I have a beer rather than like, sometimes I drink scotch when I'm cooking dinner, which is super dangerous because I drink it too fast.
Yeah, that's
and then I'm like
dangerous
drunk when I sit down to eat dinner and I'm like, this food's so good.
Anything's good right now.
Of course it is.
This is a really good sessionable beer though. Like,
Absolutely, yeah. I really like this. My initial taste, I was kind of like, oh, it's kind of plain. And now the more I drink it and the more I think about it, the more I appreciate this, and it tastes really good.
No, I really like this one. So yeah, no, I'm
Way
super
to go,
excited.
O'So.
Right? I haven't O'So, by the way. So O'So is short for Oh So Good.
Oh, so good. When you first told me the name of the place, I didn't know it was O''S''O, and I saw that like right when we started recording that was what it said on the can, and I was like, oh,
so good.
So good.
Is there what it's So O'So's been around since 2007, similar to our last brewery actually. Obviously they can their stuff, it's not super widely available. I did buy this in Wisconsin, so I'm not sure how far they reach, but they do can. So it's they started in Plover. They also now in 2019 they opened a tap room in Madison.
Oh, okay,
actually.
cool.
And in 2021 they moved to a larger space in the same town, like across the street from where they started. So it's like 32,000 square feet. It's like triple the size of their first space when they opened in 2007. So they've expanded. In 2015 they won a Great American Beer Fest gold medal.
Very nice.
In 2013, they were actually rated or ranked like the second fastest growing brewery in Wisconsin, which Wisconsin's got beer everywhere. So
that's
they've
huge.
Grown significantly. So it's a husband and wife that started it. They grew up in Kenosha. They actually met in the 9th grade.
Oh.
They had children very young.
That's familiar, right, Lauren?
Yeah, that is true. 9th grade. Yeah, that's when I met my husband.
Yeah.
But they have 2 kids, but they had children very young. I want to say she was like 17 or 18.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then they wound up moving to Tennessee, but got homesick, moved back to Wisconsin. And Mark, the husband, was, of course, an avid home brewer.
Of course.
He was a mechanical design by trade. She's actually an accountant by degree.
Oh, okay.
And they moved back to Wisconsin. He was home brewing, and the first thing the business they actually opened was a brewing and wine making supply store.
Oh, nice. I like that angle.
Yeah. So in 2003, they opened Point Brew Supply, which is where they started. It was kind of like their side gig. They both had full-time jobs, and they just opened this on the side. And that really got the ball rolling that they wanted to, at some point, open a brewery. So a few years later, in 2007, they actually wound up opening O'So. They're super supportive of Wisconsin industry. They try and use as many Wisconsin products from the canning and sleeves and all kinds of stuff as they can. They also feature other breweries actually in their tap room. So they have around 30 or more beers on tap at any given time.
Wow.
And a handful of them are theirs, but they also support other local breweries as well.
That's very kind.
Yeah.
I like that.
So very cool. So like I said, they moved to their new space in 2021, actually, very recently, their larger facility. And then in 2019, they opened their Madison one. They do have a kitchen, just a small kitchen in their main tap room up by Stevens Point, and they just have like pizzas and different things. Their tap room in Madison, there's no kitchen, but they have food trucks and they have things that come in, kind of like a lot of breweries in this area. Mm-hmm. So you can wind up getting food and whatnot, but their Madison place actually kind of opened. It's much smaller, but it opened almost as like a testing ground. So like they talked about it as a place to introduce some of their more experimental type beers before they really wind up getting, distributed elsewhere.
Okay.
So if you're ever in Madison and you want to check out some kind of cool things. They may have some things you might not see other places.
That is good to know.
Yeah,
if you guys were listening to last episode, I mentioned a potential trip to Madison.
So if you're in Madison, check them out. I mean, there's a million places in Madison, but
I know it's going to be difficult to narrow it down.
This first one that we've had, I'm a big fan. So they're winning me over with this IPA. But yeah, so pretty cool. Like I said, husband and wife couple, and been around for a while now. I mean, it's 2022, and they opened in 2007, and they're still going strong. So
that's great. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. So very cool. So that's O'So.
So good.
Oh, so good. I actually kind of like that.
I know. I think that's going to be coming back.
I'm a fan. Yeah. All right. So as we drink our beers, let's talk about what did we want to be when we grew up.
What did we want to be when we grow up?
Or our kids or our husbands or anyone who is willing to share some of their aspirations.
It's been a while since I've surveyed, and I did a little bit of a survey on this one. Good. So I got a couple of people to weigh in.
Okay.
My children, of course,
yes.
And we'll get there. I'm going to start with myself, though.
Oh, okay.
I went through a series of aspirations, I suppose you could call it, growing up. I think this is going to be a pretty standard thing for many really younger kids, school age. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a teacher. There was a period where I thought I wanted to be a teacher.
Sure.
And I think it was that I liked my teachers.
Probably.
And not necessarily that I wanted to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. Although I don't remember being as impatient as I am now.
Yeah, I could never be a teacher. I have zero patience.
Yeah, I know that about myself.
I can't even teach my children some days. Oh. Like my daughter came up to me today and was like, how do I do this math problem? And I was like, I don't know. I can't.
I have to, at another time, give you a math problem my son had to do for homework the other day that I got stumped on.
Yeah,
and he's
exactly.
A 6th grader.
This is why I can't be a teacher.
I mean, like in my head, I was like, I know how to get to the answer to this question, but how do I help my son get to the answer?
Right. How do I
for this question? But yes, absolutely. Like that is exactly what probably I eventually realized about being a teacher, that wasn't going to work out for me. Mm-hmm. So rather than do that, I got really into science type stuff in like middle school and high school. I really enjoyed anatomy and microbiology.
Not for me.
Yeah. I know your husband was in my class. He
was in both probably, but I was not a fan.
I think he was.
Yeah.
That was
Miss
really
Woj, right?
Miss Woj.
Yep,
that was totally really interesting to me. It was really enjoyable. I loved microbiology. When we went away to U of I, when we went away to college, I actually took a microbiology course as my science requirement.
Oh, cool.
Because I had to take something.
Sure.
You have to take one.
Yeah, I don't
which
even remember
seems kind of absurd in the college setting. I kind of don't understand why you still have to take like general education.
I know. I still don't get that, but whatever. Yeah.
Like, are we still doing the thing where you're going to tell me that I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem in everyday life? Are we still doing that? Like, seems silly.
Totally not valid. Yeah.
I also could go on and on and on about how I believe that most jobs you would be better suited for them by doing some sort of apprenticeship rather than even getting formal schooling.
Oh, 100%.
But let's not go there.
Right.
That's a story for another day, perhaps. But yes, I was super into it. I really appreciated microbiology. I read some books about infectious disease, which is what I found really interesting. I read The Hot Zone by Richard Preston, which is a book about Ebola. Mm-hmm. And it was just like super intriguing to me. My sister-in-law graduated from medical school, and back when I was probably like a freshman in college or maybe a senior in high school, one of those two, and I went to her graduation, and the speaker at her graduation was William Close, who's Glenn Close's father.
Oh, wow.
And he was actually an infectious disease doctor that worked in the Congo for quite some time and wrote a book about working in the Congo and working with Ebola and things like that. And I was super intrigued. I bought his book, and he was really awesome. And so if I had to pick one thing that I still want to be. I would say that.
Okay.
I kind of want to do infectious disease research, which seems kind of on the nose
right
these
now.
days,
Yeah.
which is just kind of ironic, to be honest with you. It's not a coincidence. It's just that's how it worked out. I just find it very interesting. I still do.
That's cool. Yeah. Something that keeps your interest is way more exciting to have as a career than something that does not keep your interest.
Yeah. So I felt that way. I assumed I would do some kind of research, do like lab work or something.
Sure.
I didn't want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
I don't want to be out in the disease area.
No, but research
I
or
was
something.
more, and the reason I didn't keep going in college with it was because I was afraid that I would get tripped up by the other math or science related fields I would be required to study to major in it or to get a PhD.
There's a lot of math required and a lot of that as well.
Yeah, and I can barely balance my checkbook, you guys. So like, not that anybody does that anymore officially.
My father will forever until he dies.
Yes, my father also does. He does this thing where he highlights the charges on the credit card bill and then asks you what they are. It's super fun. I like it because it's like a game. And sometimes I don't know because what the description is on the credit card bill isn't
totally
super
different.
straightforward.
Right.
You're like, what's the ABV company? And you don't know what that is. And then you have to like Google it and
yeah, I bought this from them. Got it.
And it's a piece of equipment that we bought for the shop. Yeah.
Nice.
But yes, so
okay.
So I kind of got scared off by the other things I would have to study to support that and decided to become a political science major instead, which I use every day. Yeah. So as a result, I went to law school, which people probably know because I've talked about it before, because I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. Before I went away to law school, I got my real estate license. And while I was in law school, I did do a little bit of work in real estate. I helped a couple people find their house and stuff like that. Pretty low-key stuff.
Yeah.
Not a lot, not super involved. And thought maybe I would make more money as a realtor than I would as a lawyer.
Depending on what you were going into. Yeah.
And so I kind of floundered between those two things a little bit while I was in law school. And then decided I didn't want to do either. So I ended up temporarily working for my father at the Science Stop. And
years
that's
later, temporarily.
where I am right now, almost 20 years later.
Wow, yeah. Ironically, I always wanted to be a lawyer since I look back on my, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? Lawyer was always.
To be a lawyer. Wow, that's really interesting. Did you know lawyers? Was that the motivation?
Not really.
You knew somebody who was?
I don't think I knew any lawyers. I don't know. Maybe I watched too much TV or something. I have no idea.
I mean, that's
but
possible.
Yeah, as a kid, I literally always wanted to be a lawyer. And it's not that I didn't want to do that. I just, when I got to college, thought it would be too much work.
Yeah.
So it was more about so I wound up going to U of I, and they are very good in their accounting program. So they were like number 1 or 2 in the country at the time when we were there. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm good at math. I'll just do this. And it was shorter because I didn't have to go to law school. I just had to go to grad school, and I had to go long enough to be able to take the CPA exam.
Right.
And when I took the CPA exam, it was still little bubbles with a pencil. Now it's on the computer. So
I do
vastly
not miss
different than what it is now. But I did take the CPA exam, and I passed it the first time, and then I just wound up going to work in public accounting, and I have a job that is a great job, and I don't use my degree at all anymore because I really don't do much accounting work anymore.
Right.
But it was more about I just didn't want to do all of the time that it required to be a lawyer. It wasn't even that I didn't like the topic. It was more that I just didn't feel like staying in school any longer.
That was actually a big part of it for me, too. I felt like, and I mentioned this before when I said the apprenticeship thing, I thought that law school was just like, it didn't make sense to me, the format.
Sure.
I appreciated some of the things I learned in my first year of law school because it taught you to analyze things in a certain way. The whole idea is you read these cases, you read these court opinions, and you understand how they came to the conclusion they came to. Mm-hmm. And then once you figure that out, and once you learn how to write basically your own opinion, hypothetically, or argument, if you will.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure what the purpose of law school was supposed to be. It wasn't to prepare you for the bar exam. Because the bar exam isn't going to ask you specific questions about legal precedent. It was hypotheticals.
Yeah, you have to evaluate. Yeah.
And I just felt like, depending on the type of law you wanted to practice, for example, I was interested in real estate law, or transactional, maybe in a broader sense.
Yeah.
And I think that the best way to prepare you for real estate law is to just get a job with a real estate attorney.
Yeah, and just get experience.
Follow them around for a year or two. And then, honestly, I'm not really sure why you couldn't do that job after that.
No, that's totally fair. I thought one of my most interesting grad school classes actually was a law school class. It was a contract law class, and really because a lot of the CPA exam is business combinations.
Okay.
So you need to understand how, businesses are organized and what the different contracts are and different things. So,
sure.
But it was a super interesting class, but I was like, I understand, how they came to these decisions, but I don't think I would. After that class, I was like, I definitely don't want to go to law school.
Right.
I don't want to take years of this type of class. And so it was like, all right, well, I made the right decision. I just stuck it out for grad school, and grad school also did not prepare me for the CPA exam. I just had to study like a crazy person the whole time. But it worked out fine.
What do you want to be when you grow up, though?
Landscape photographer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Totally different. Yeah. Nothing to do with any of the things that I do on a regular basis.
I like that though.
Yeah.
God, this is so cheesy. I want to work at the sign stop. I want to do what I'm doing now.
You know what?
Which
That's
isn't the
great.
plan. Was never the plan. I guess I just became a grown up. I don't know.
That's okay. That's totally okay. I will retire from the job that I am currently at for sure. Well, barring any catastrophes. But,
yeah, sure. Right.
But yeah,
me too.
I would like to be a landscape photographer or a travel agent.
Ooh, you would be a great travel agent. You would be a great landscape photographer.
I feel like those are two things that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Unlike my day-to-day job. So
I respect that.
Yeah, I asked my husband this as well. When he was a kid, he either wanted to take after his father and go in to be electrician, or he was going to go into the military.
Oh, okay.
His mom told him he had to go to college, so he did neither of those things. So he went to college. He thought he wanted to be a cop. He didn't want to be a cop.
Well,
and then he graduated college and decided he wanted to be a fireman. After going through college and getting a degree that is useless to him, he then decided to go back to essentially a trade school. Is really what a paramedic school is.
Yeah, sure.
It's not a fire academy. It's not a degree. It's just like an apprenticeship.
You're right. It's a trade.
It's a trade.
Yeah.
And so he went back and got his paramedic license and his fire science classes, and he now is a fireman. Obviously, has been for the last, since 2004, 2005. So it's been a while. Maybe longer than that. I don't know. It's been a long time. So he didn't do any of the things he initially thought he was going to do. And when he grows up, he wants to own a shop and fix motorcycles. Oh. So not what he's doing now at all, or anything that he is. I mean, he's very good at fixing the vehicles that we have.
Sure.
I'm confident he could do but that's what he wants to do when he grows up.
That's really nice.
Yeah. So
my husband, when I met him, he was going to be a graphic designer.
Yes.
And I think that, and I want to say he would agree with the statement, although we didn't have a conversation about this particular subject today.
Sure.
He's artistic, and he very much enjoyed creative classes in high school and things like that. And I think that at the time when we were in college, graphic design was starting to become kind of a big deal and was a higher demand field. Now, I hate to say this, but everybody and their brother has a graphic design degree.
So I think it's
very difficult to move from that degree to a successful job that you maintain for a long time.
Yeah.
Even at the sign stop.
There's a lot more competition for it because there's so many people that went to do that. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think when he was studying it and even at graduation time, perhaps he would have found success and maybe he would have really enjoyed it.
Who knows? Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was. I don't think it was what he thought it was going to be.
Sure.
I think that he believed it was going to be art. And if I've learned anything from my time
art.
dealing with graphic designers, it's that it's not art. It's following directions.
Fair.
It's almost entirely following directions and doing what someone else tells you to do.
So probably just wasn't what he really wanted.
Yeah. Absolutely. He now, I would say kind of is in a sales, position at Binny's. He works at Binny's. He's in a manager position now. I think that in the long run, he would like to move into their corporate arena and do something in beer, probably, but even just something else in corporate that involves, just wider range decision making for the company and what direction they're heading.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And I think that for him, it's just that it's something he appreciates and that it's a larger company, but not a large company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is nice because there's room for things like that without being overwhelmed by 1,000 applicants for the same job.
True. Yeah. No, that's good.
But he will tell you that when he grows up, he wants to be a game designer. Video games. Although I think he would do tabletop board games
as well.
Happily, and has done a little bit of both of those things, to a simple extent.
Yeah.
But I think that would make him, I think he would really enjoy that. And I'm trying to get my nephew to become a code person, to write code so that him and Mike can eventually start their game design business.
There you go.
I'm going to try to get my nephew to do that.
Does he do so my youngest wants to do the Code Ninjas, the coding camps and stuff. He really wants to start doing that.
There's that guy who makes like the squirrel obstacle courses and stuff.
Yeah, he's got the online Mark Rober. He's got
he does courses and they're a little advanced, I've heard, but I've also heard that they're supposed to be amazing. My youngest wanted to do it.
He also has subscription boxes now too. But they're sold out. But we follow him like crazy.
I'm sure
my
you do.
Twins are obsessed. But
my youngest was really into him and wanted to sign up for one of the like invention classes, and I was like, I do not want to build a robot. And since I would be the one that would have to do everything,
I would be literally sitting next to you.
I don't want to show you how to use a soldering iron. You're not ready for that.
That's fair. I feel like my son could probably do that.
Your son could do it.
I feel like he could
do it.
That's
not... that I'm not concerned about.
I'm like, I feel like this would be like right up his alley.
Could not do it.
Yeah, he built an engine out of a kit, but he built an engine all by himself last year.
That's pretty cool.
And it works. Like, you turn it on and it works and things move, and
that's pretty awesome. He can help his dad with the
he can totally help with the motorcycle repair shop. I did ask the twins what they want to be when they grew up, and my youngest actually said a mechanic.
Okay.
Because he likes to fix things.
That's good.
And he likes to work on motors and machines and things. And I was like, okay, cool. He said he would want to be a mechanic for like aerospace though, or something, like a mechanic for NASA versus like a so depending on what kind of, who knows, he'll probably go in somewhere for engineering. I mean, he's 8, so I have zero clue what he's really gonna do.
I know, right?
But forever he's always liked to build things, so, and he's very good at building things.
Nice.
So I feel like if he continues along that path, that's totally something that he could do. But if he enjoys it, who knows? I have no idea. He could be, I have no clue. He could be something totally different when he's older. But as of now, he wants to do something that fixes things.
Nice.
Now, my daughter this week wants to be a music teacher.
Okay.
Because it's her favorite class in school.
Sure.
And she also really loves music. So, like, that's something she does thoroughly enjoy.
Okay.
She also likes the idea of teaching things to children, to helping them kind of understand So I actually could see her being a teacher. She has far more patience than most of the rest of our family.
Like, she's more patient than almost anybody I know.
She's like, she has the patience that the rest of us lack. She got all of it.
Somehow
the rest of us have none of it.
And it came to her.
Yes,
yeah.
all of it. So I could definitely see her doing that. But the other professions she's wanted to be, like, across the board are, like, a hairdresser, a monster truck driver, a NASA robot engineer. Like, she's been literally all over the board. So that's why I say this week she wants to be a music teacher, which I actually think is probably the most fitting of all of the things that she's wanted to be.
You could see that.
So,
one,
like,
sure.
this one, I'm like, I could see this.
You're like, oh,
I get it.
Maybe.
Like, this one I can understand. The others, not so much.
Sure.
But this one, sure. I could totally get this.
That's
so
good.
I'm intrigued. We'll have to look back on this in 10 years and figure out what classes they're going to take in college, and
we will do this
figure
episode
that
again
out and figure out what.
And I'll tell you what I want to be.
At that point, I'll tell you what I want to be when I grow up, because it'll probably change. It might not change.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to fall in love with in 10 years.
You don't know what experiences you're going to have.
I know.
You might find something you love that like you haven't done yet.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah. So
my kids. So I did ask my kids. My 11-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
This is interesting. He never ceases to amaze me. He wants to be a singer.
Oh.
He has said this before. He has said he wants to be a singer before. What I find interesting about this answer is that about a week ago, he came home with a sign-up sheet for the choir.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, do you want to join the choir? Or is that something because it's after school.
Sure.
And he was like, nah, I don't want to be in the choir. But I thought you liked singing. Yeah, no, I don't want to be in the choir.
Okay.
And now today, when I asked him what he wanted to be when he grows up, he's still saying singer. But not apparently he doesn't want to sing with other people. I don't know what's going on. I can't answer that question.
Yeah, all right.
That's what he wants to be. He has said that for a long time.
Interesting. I feel like choir would have been right up his alley then.
Well, and what I absolutely love about my son saying singer is that I think that what he really wants to do is beatbox. I think that's what he's thinking of, like Bismarcky level stuff.
Oh, I like it.
So I also think that would make him perfect for choir, because I'm sure no one else is going to beatbox.
No, I have Bismarcky in my head, just so you know.
You're welcome.
All right.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But yeah, no, I'm sure that is not something that most of the rest of the choir people are actually doing.
Which would make him perfect for choir, in my opinion, because you need a beatboxer in the choir, right?
Right. I mean, why not?
Right?
Everybody needs a beatboxer.
My youngest, my 8-year-old, wants to be, and has said this for quite a while as well, a soccer coach.
Oh, okay.
That's what he wants to do. He wants to be a soccer coach. Oh. He enjoys soccer. I think that it's likely that he'll keep playing soccer, as a child and even through high school, possibly. Yeah. Because he really enjoys it and he's pretty good at it.
Cool. Yeah.
And maybe that continues. And I think that, but in the long run, I think that he really wants to be a soccer coach, and I think he would be great at it because he very much enjoys yelling. And I don't mean to say that he's a mean person. What I mean is I think that as a coach, you have to be able to balance the love with the tough love. Yeah. And I think that he would be really good at that.
Okay. Yeah.
So I could see soccer coach. So one of my kids is a total mystery and I don't understand what's going on. And the other kid, far as I'm concerned, 10 years from now, he's going to say exactly the same thing.
Cool.
I have no idea. And those could switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
If my 11-year-old is a singer 10 years from now, I will eat a dozen hard-boiled eggs on this podcast. I promise.
All right.
Because I honestly,
I can't picture this.
He's such a leaf on the wind. I don't know what is going to happen with him. Sometimes he talks about working at the sign stop.
Sure. Which
I also have a hard time picturing because we spend a lot of time with dealing with paying attention to small details.
Correct.
And he doesn't seem to really do that. He's more of a big picture guy.
Okay.
Well,
also he would need a partner that would do the attention to detail.
Yeah, I think my youngest nephew would be very good at that because he's very like straight shooter, get to the point.
Yeah.
But he's also very friendly. Okay. And he's got like the phone conversation stuff he could totally do. Like he could deal with customers.
Nice.
But he's also like no nonsense, get down to business. And I think that they would complement each other very well.
That would go well. I have no idea if my oldest will ever hold a job. I mean, he's autistic and he really is mostly nonverbal. He has some words, but not many. And generally speaking, will always need some sort of assistance. I mean, who knows? Things change. He's only 10.
Sure.
But anything that he would do, I feel like would be something art related. He really enjoys any sort of art. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he could create something in his older years. Maybe he could. I have no idea what the future holds for him, but likely very different than the twins. But
much like them and my own children, it's early.
Yeah.
It's hard to say what's going to happen next. I mean,
never really know. There's some great autistic communities out there. There's some even around us. One of them has a farm that they do kind of activities and just not clubs, but like social skills for like teenagers, and they can come and help around the farm and help do things, and like that's definitely something that I think also would be up his alley. He loves animals, loves them.
Nice.
All animals.
That does sound good.
Literally. Yeah. So anything related to that, he might be into as well. There's a restaurant in Naperville that opened recently that's a poutine restaurant.
Oh, yes.
That all their servers have special needs.
Oh.
That is super cool.
I was looking at their menu and was very seriously considering going.
I was like, I really want to check it out. Yeah. First of all, I love poutine.
But I did not know that.
And it's very cool because they are huge into the special needs community, and a lot of their servers and hostess and people that work there have some sort of special needs.
That's
so
very cool.
Yeah,
I really like that.
There's more opportunities now than there definitely were when we were kids for kids like my son.
Absolutely. I mean, I can remember some interactions with special needs adults.
More adults than kids when we were kids, though. I don't remember meeting any kids with special needs when we were in school.
Me neither.
Like, at all.
Me neither. So, were they so isolated? Is
maybe,
that what we're...
I feel like, because maybe they didn't have the resources in the public school system like they do now. But when I think back, like, I don't remember really anybody.
I mean, do you remember in elementary school or junior high interacting with... I mean, I remember there being a special ed class.
Yes.
But I don't really remember most of those kids being...
interacting with or having significant special needs.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. And I was trying to find the words, but yes.
They were verbal. They probably had learning disabilities more so than significant special needs. I feel like at the time... they sent kids like my son to Elam, to a completely different school.
Yeah.
So they were not in the normal school. Yeah. They were sent to a placement school elsewhere we were kids. I think that's more what happens. And that still does if they feel like they can't handle being in a school environment, they send them to a special needs school. Okay. My son, even though he has behaviors and he is mostly nonverbal, he still goes to public school. He goes to the same school that my twins will go to. And he does take a special ed bus, so that's different. But he goes to the same school, sits in the same cafeteria generally, is in the same building as other kids his age, just that don't have special needs. But when we were kids, I didn't interact with any kids that were like my son, like at all.
Yeah.
So it's very different now.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. But there's more opportunities. There's more places like the place in Naperville. I'll have to find the name of it. There's some coffee shops that really only hire special needs people, adults or teenagers, to work. So there's a lot more opportunities now than there probably were when we were kids. That's really
awesome.
So hopefully he will find his place somewhere just like the rest of our children to do something productive.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
And as long as it makes them happy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I feel that way about all of these kids. Someday, maybe we'll be happy.
That's the other interesting thing is I feel like I'm sure my parents just wanted me to be happy, but I also feel like I just needed a job. So, like, I went and I got a job. And,
Sure, yeah.
Like,
right.
I don't love my job. It's fine. It's fine.
I think my husband feels that way about his job. I think that he's moved from job to job over the years a little bit. And in those jobs, he has found things he enjoys more than others.
Sure. Yeah.
And he's content where he is.
Yeah.
And I don't imagine he would move on unless something, like you mentioned, something drastic happens.
Sure. Yeah, I plan on...
he gets totally snubbed for some reason.
Sure.
Or
there's a great opportunity somewhere else, or some craziness happens.
Right.
I mean, definitely...
We talk often about how we're in a position nowadays where looking around doesn't hurt.
Oh,
you know?
Oh, God,
and,
no. Yeah, it definitely is worth understanding what the market's like for jobs out there.
Yeah, and we've talked on occasion about, well, you know, it doesn't hurt to apply. Sit down and talk to somebody, and hey, you don't get the job.
Okay.
That's fine. You already have a job. Yeah. You get offered the job, you go to your current job, and you let them know what's happening, and then you make a decision.
Yep, totally.
And you didn't... Nothing bad happened.
No, that happens all the time.
What was supposed to happen.
And it's worth checking places out. But I definitely plan on, like I said, I will likely retire from where I'm at. Do I love it? No. Like, is it satisfying in some way? Am I passionate about it? Definitely no.
Right. Sure.
But it's a job, and I have to pay bills. I got a lot of them. So
I hear that, my
I
friend.
have to work. So for now, this is what we're doing. And next, we're going to drink our next beer, which is the polar opposite of the very drinkable low ABV.
Yeah.
This is almost 10% ABV. Convenient Distraction. I do love the name.
That's perfect.
It totally is. Imperial Porter, brewed with Madagascar bourbon vanilla beans.
Vanilla.
And Ruby Roasters coffee.
I was going to say, it smells like coffee.
It is coffee and vanilla. And it's a porter. So we are going to give this one a shot and see what we think. Ooh. I'm smelling.
That tastes good. It tastes like cold brew, which I love.
Oh, this is good.
But I do give vanilla, actually, because if I were to compare it to cold brew, I would say, but it does have a sweet...
It does have a sweetness to
underlying flavor to it,
has
which is
the sweetness,
definitely...
which is the vanilla. It's got the coffee for sure. This tastes like an alcoholic cold brew. Like, I could drink this in the morning.
Oh, man. I mean, right?
Start my day with a little convenient distraction.
Yeah, how appropriate is that?
I love that name.
Oh, so good. So in the process of having this conversation, I realized I actually do have something I want to grow up and do.
Oh.
That isn't work at the science shop.
Okay.
I want to be a carpenter.
Oh, you were really great at making things. Yeah, I can totally see that.
I know. And, you know, my grandfather had a little, like, wood shop in his basement, and I used to sit down there with him when I was a kid. And I didn't build anything, and he was a perfectionionist, so he never would have asked for help, which is, I respect that, because I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I don't really want help from my family.
Yeah.
I love you guys, but...
Nope, totally understand.
You will mess it up. But yeah, I could see if the situation changed, I could see turning that into a hobby.
Yeah.
That I would very much enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would want to make it my career because I think if you're a carpenter by trade, there's a lot more involved in that, of course, but like, you know, you're going to somebody's house and you're like building bookshelves or whatever.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
You want to build things you want to build.
Yeah, I want to build the collar for my keyser.
Yeah,
you know, which is what I did.
You want to build. Well, and my husband actually, like he's very handy. He makes all kinds of stuff. But he last year, 2 years ago, made a whole bunch of cutting boards and serving boards and stuff for like, and he did an amazing job at it. Like he could sell those things for a significant amount of money, but they all looked really good. Like he did a great job. And I think if he had more time and wasn't working a full-time job, he would do more like that, like build things with his hands, do things, create things.
Yeah.
I
love that feeling.
The kids, we were watching a Netflix show called Making Fun earlier. Okay. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Okay. It's funny. It's a grumpy guy who used to make like toys for a living, and he starts out the show being like, I hated it. I don't like the city. I don't even really like kids. But he moved to like upstate New York, and he has this maker, like this shed, huge building. And so he takes kids, send in videos of ideas of like what he should make. And they're completely outrageous things.
Oh, yeah.
Like the first episode is like a dinosaur taco thing. Like it's a huge, like 10-foot tall dinosaur that has a conveyor belt that shoots out candy tacos. Like crazy stuff.
Awesome.
Should totally check it out.
That sounds awesome.
It's him and his buddies make things. He calls himself a maker. He makes things.
That's so cool.
In this big outbuilding that he's just got all these woodworking stuff, and I feel like my husband would love that as his like retirement gig.
Yeah. I follow this guy on Facebook who used to be a Disney Imagineer, and he used
He's the
to
one
do
that does woodworking,
the carved signs and everything.
Yeah.
You know him.
I do.
Yes. And every time so I'm in a group that he is also in.
Okay.
Because he's in the Disney Vacation Club group that I'm in. And so every once in a rare while he posts like the latest thing he made. And every time he posts it, I say to myself, how much money would I pay for this? Because I really want it. Is his name
Raymond Kinman?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm 99% sure that
he's also in a camping group because he makes a bunch of signs for people's like campers or houses
and stuff like that.
Cottages and like this family, like this one says pursue your dreams or stuff.
That's
but
definitely
I see it and I keep looking at it and I'm like, I can't afford $5,000 for a woodworking sign. But they're super
Is that
cool.
how much that sign is?
They start at $3,000. And they're super intricate and they're so cool. And I would love to be able to do crazy stuff like that.
I know.
Like,
I think that is just awesome. What a beautiful piece of art, right?
So cool. And he even says, he's like, you will pass this down in your family for generations. Like, it will last forever. Like, you're investing in a piece of, like, an heirloom that you're making. So I get it. And I'm sure his skill is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, but
I know it is. It's amazing.
Super cool. But those kind of things are just crazy to me.
What a fun trade, though. Could you imagine, like, your job, what you did for a living was carve signs for Disney?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How cool is that?
Cool is that?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a cool job. Maybe that's what I want before I die, is to be like, I did something cool with my life.
I know, right? That's why I think carpentry sounds fun. Because I could, like,
yeah,
build something that I would pass down.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. I love taking photography. Like that picture I took. Like, there's a bunch of pictures
a great
that
photo.
I just like. I really enjoy that. And that's something I would like to do when I retire, is to do something that I enjoy. So
before we end this conversation, I haven't mentioned this yet. I asked my brother when he was a child, I said, what did you want to be when you grow up? And now I will preface this by saying that my experience with my brother, who is 6 years older than me, has always been that he always wanted to work at my father's sign company.
All right.
As long as I can, as far back as I can remember, that was always his plan.
Okay.
And I was just, that was just like common knowledge. That was just accepted information. There was no explanation for why he felt that way or anything like that. It was just, that was the plan. That was what was going to happen. But he had the desire to do it. It wasn't my father expecting him to do it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I said to Tori, what did you want to be when you were a child? And he said, no hesitation. First, he said, I wanted to be a baseball player. And I said, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. I get it. Why didn't you become a baseball player? And he was like, because I'm not athletic. Well, that's a good reason.
Yes.
Yeah. I am also not a basketball player because I am not athletic enough. I loved playing basketball growing up, but I am...
There's not the skill level there.
I barely made the sophomore basketball team at a school where we lost more games than we won. Yeah. Okay? So,
yeah.
Not going to be a basketball player. Then... this is what was interesting to me, because when Tori was little, my father didn't own the sign business.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this goes back to something else. And my brother said he wanted to be a pizza maker.
Aww.
And I realized after he said it that it's because when he was little, my father owned a pizza place.
Yeah.
And I just find it extremely beautiful that my brother has always wanted
to follow
in my dad's footsteps. It is not something I realized about him. And if he listens to this episode, he's probably going to feel a little embarrassed. I hope not.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I just think it is a beautiful thing that, first of all, I think it's very cool that my dad has been enough of an inspiration to at least one person, if not both of us, to encourage us to work for ourselves and follow what he set out, and allow his legacy to continue.
Yeah.
And that we're excited enough about it that that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
And secondly, for my brother to have such an appreciation for my dad as a child and far enough along that as a grown man, when going to college, when graduating from college, still having that desire to come and work at the sign shop is just like, it's very cool. Both of them. It's very cool of both of them. And I just thought that was so cool that he wanted to be a pizza maker.
Cute. Yeah. Aw, I like that.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
Maybe when he retires, he'll make pizzas.
Oh, yeah. He does make Detroit style pizza once in a while. He's really perfected that. If you've never had, I'm sure you haven't, because I've only ever had it once. I got him to make it for the Super Bowl last year.
Okay.
They came over and watched the Super Bowl, which is funny because my brother makes it a point not to watch football.
Oh,
Philosophically, he doesn't support football because it's dangerous. That's what he said.
Okay.
Because there's too many injuries and it ruins people's lives and blah, 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 blah. But some of us just love violence, okay? And sometimes you just want to see some real life violence.
Yeah. I mean, my husband sells TV shows to me on like, this has violence and revenge. You would like it. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Since we don't normally do this, but I like to do this, I would like to recommend a television show to literally everyone, but especially you.
Okay.
There is a show, I think it's on Hulu, although
I got that.
Yeah, it's called The Bear.
Okay, I've heard of it. I've read about it, I should say.
You have to watch it.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you very much, but I will say that it's based on an Italian beef restaurant in Chicago.
Yep.
And I won't say anything else.
Okay. I read an article about it when it first came out. But I have not watched it. Granted, I've got like 7 seasons of Ted Lasso to catch up on. I don't even know how many they have.
Seasons.
2? Okay, whatever.
2 seasons. It's not that much. You're going to be fine. You're going to catch up. Let me know when you get 2.
And then I will.
There's an episode where one of the characters goes on a little tirade. I don't want to even describe it because it's so good. It's my favorite line in the whole show.
All right. We are catching up on that. So once
That's wonderful. The Bear is only one season.
Okay.
It's only like 8
then I can
episodes.
hop on that. Because we got rid of cable, so now we have like all the streaming things, which we already had all the streaming things, so we're really not like wasting anything. We already had Hulu and Disney and Netflix. We just got Apple TV, so now we just don't watch cable, and I don't miss it.
No.
So
here's how I'm going to sell The Bear to you.
Okay.
Just one last thing.
Right.
I will say there is an episode 7. It's a one shot. The entire episode is a one shot.
Oh,
it's one shot. The entire thing.
Wow. Okay.
Mwah! It's perfection. It's so good. It stresses you out, but it makes you feel good, and you just want a beef sandwich while you're watching it.
Nice.
And it makes you love food. And when we were in Napa, I thought about it a lot because one of the characters used to be a chef at a restaurant in Napa. That's like his backstory.
Okay.
And actually, when we went to the Culinary Institute, they had aprons that said "Yes, Chef" on them.
Yes.
That's from The Bear. That's why
really?
those were there.
Oh, cool. I had no idea. All right. Well, now I will have to check it out. So,
yeah.
All right. I'm adding it to my TV watching.
Please do.
My TV
so
watching
there you go,
list.
guys. Maybe at the end of episodes now we'll make like a recommendation.
I like it. All right.
The Bear.
Convenient distraction.
Yeah.
See? Look at this.
Look what we did.
Tying
we
it
just
all
kept
in.
going.
All right. Well, I will add that to my list. And thank you all for joining us tonight.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to the latest musings from Parenting by the Pint.
Be sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you find your podcasts.
Have a great week, and cheers to you all.